Okay, I'm going to show you a few tools you're going to need to do this first project, trying to find certain sounds in autonomous recordings. So we're going to be using this program Arbimon. It's actually a collaborative research project. A lot of people can put up projects, and these tend to be focused on biodiversity inventories. And so you'll be creating an account, a username and a password to get into Arbimon, to have access. You can view Arbimon without that, but to have access to our project. Once you do that and sign in, you can go to this tab called My Projects. And if you can't, what we're going to be needing to do is once you've created your username and you're in Arbimon, you're going to provide me, the faculty, with your username, and I'll be able to search and add you to a project. So you can't add yourself to projects, but I can add you to a project. And so the project we're going to be working with is this field ornithology acoustic project. And this is going to be a cool project because we're going to be not only learning how to use this software, but we're going to be documenting acoustic information around our region. So this project is focused on recording and detecting Pacific Northwest bird species in the Puget Sound region during the breeding season. So the first thing you'll do to participate in this is you'll be deploying your audio moth, and in another video, there's some instructions on how to do that. And then we'll be putting these recordings on our site. Now, what we'll be doing, excuse me, is there's a whole several step process for doing this. The faculty will, for the most part, be actually adding the recordings to the site, but we need location information from each person. And so if you go to this tab up here called data, you'll see some options for data. And one of the first options is sites. And for any kind of recording or information to be added, there needs to be location information. And so you can create a new location. So there's one site here with my last name and my first initial, and this is the location of a place where I put an audio moth and then uploaded some recordings from that location. Okay, and here's those recordings. So I'm going to go back to sites. The way I'd like you to add your site is to select create and your site name. And the site name should be your last name and first initial. So in my case, it's Styrene A. Now I've already added a site in each, for this assignment, each person's just going to have one site. So last name, first initial, and then you're going to add your latitude and your longitude. And so to do that, you can actually get that information from taking a waypoint on, say, a smart device, or you can use Google Earth to find your location. Our latitude is 47 degrees and longitude is negative 122. But these decimals are going to give us much more specific information. And so you're going to enter that in, latitude, longitude, altitude. Again, you can get this from a smart device, the altitude, or if you actually find your location, say in Google Earth, and you hover over that location, it will actually tell you what the elevation or the altitude is at that location. So once you've done that, I'm going to say Styrene A2, and we can put in something slightly different. This one, let's just put 9, and then here we're going to say okay, and then altitude. If I would have to find the altitude, and I'm not exactly sure, so I'm putting in some coordinates that I'm not exactly sure where this is going to get me, but this is a new map coordinate. And so if we saved it, we would see, okay, now we have a coordinate. Okay, and this is out somewhere else, okay? And we can actually zoom out and see where that is. It's going to be somewhere not all that far from where we are now, okay? In fact, zooming out, it's actually a wetland over here, just a little bit south of campus. So This is not an actual site that we're going to use. I'll remove this, but right now there's 0 recordings from that site. But say this was your site, what we would then do if I would connect that with your last name, first initial, and put the recordings up. So that's how you enter your site information.